The invisible wounds a lost child has to face, not only in childhood but also adulthood, are not frequently discussed. So today we are talking about 5 ways lost children can begin to heal. Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm a certified coach. I specialize in abuse recovery from narcissistic, sociopathic, and psychopathic abuse. If you're interested in trauma-informed content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's go. Number 1. One of the most helpful ways to heal from family dysfunction as the lost child is to recognize the harmful self-talk that often ruminates from the abuse. This can also be called self-gaslighting. When you're the lost child, you were neglected, you weren't cared for or allowed to feel safe. As the lost child becomes aware of their position in the family, they begin to take in what their siblings or parents have said to them, or all of the things that weren't said. No words are needed for the lost child to ruminate or feel terrible in their own minds. The lack of nurturing and obvious favoritism of the golden child makes the lost child feel like they aren't worthy, that they don't belong in this family. Something must be wrong with them, and other harmful phrases. Recognizing this negative thought pattern can help aid recovery because once you become self-aware of these thoughts, you can begin to question them. Many of us just allow these thoughts to run through our minds and we feel terrible. But when we learn to take control of these ruminating thoughts, we can begin to decode the truth from the lies we have been fed or began to feed ourselves from the neglect. So how do we start that? We can start to combat the ruminating thoughts and harmful self-talk with catching ourselves with the negative patterns. When this pops up, write it down if possible, or try to remember later on when you have a chance to journal so we can pick up on the negative patterns and realize what you have to work on. Then depending on what the pattern is and what it contains, that is where we offer ourselves self-compassion and be gentle with ourselves and not beat ourselves up when we are going through the healing process. Healing is not easy and it's not pretty. It's ugly, it's hard, and we often feel alone. You are not alone. So many people go through these thoughts every day. Many just don't know how to show it or don't talk about it. Number 2, accepting what has happened in your life with having the role of the lost child is also important. You did not choose this role. It was forced on you, it was wrong, and there is no justification for a parent to neglect or abuse their child in any way, shape, or form. You didn't deserve it, and acknowledging that fact can help with the chronic guilt many lost children feel for not feeling like they were enough or that they struggled to please their family members but always fell short to the golden child no matter what. Number 3, focusing on your inner child and being the adult your past lost child self needed will not only help you grieve the childhood you didn't have, but it will also bring the joy you need. In order to work on some inner child healing, it's essential to be patient and kind with yourself. Let yourself think back to the things that you liked when you were a kid and the things that you never got to do or have. It's very healing to let yourself be unapologetically you and discover everything that brings you joy. This varies person to person. There's no wrong way to do this. Being there for yourself, allowing yourself to explore interest, buy the toy you never got to have, but desperately wanted, or the toy that was taken from you, watch the movie or shows you loved or never got to see. Number 4, allow yourself to feel. Lost children often shut off their emotions and isolate because that is what they were always used to. Anger and sadness don't always have to be viewed as negative. It's healthy to allow yourself to feel all emotions when you are in a place where you feel comfortable. Let them out. We have to release that emotion. And lastly, number 5, get support. The isolation a lost child goes through is intense, and it often makes adult lost children feel like no one will understand them or would ever even bother working on traumatic events and experiences with them. But joining support groups with other like-minded survivors can really help. So when you find a community that understands you, it makes a lot of difference for your recovery. Don't feel like you're a bother asking for help or that you don't need help because you've always been on your own. Sometimes finding a professional who understands can also be essential for healing, whether it's a coach or a therapist that specializes in recovery from abuse and is trauma-informed. If you were a lost child, tell me down below in the comment section, what have you done to help yourself heal? Maybe that can help someone else too. I will see you next time. Stay safe.